Now, are you prepared for the end of the world? Happy, happy. Well, last week the government advised us all to have at least 3 days' worth of food and supplies in case of an emergency, such as a natural disaster or a pandemic or a power cut.
Well, there are some people known as preppers who have been stocking up on essentials for years and they're ready for anything. Psychologist and mum of two, Dr. Sarita Robinson, is one of those people and has months' worth of supplies for her and her family.
Yeah, we're going to be talking to Sarita in a moment. First, we can go live to the biggest prepping shop in the UK to speak to its owner, Lincoln Miles. Morning, Lincoln.
Morning, thanks for having us on.
Oh, mate, thank you for having us, and thanks to your friend there as well. So, listen, where do we start? How did you end up with a prepping shop, with a prepper shop?
I mean, we've been going 10 years now. We was the first prepping shop in Europe. The concept's been huge in America for sort of decades, so we sort of realised there was a huge gap in the market and people quite simply wasn't prepared. So, we brought the concept over to Europe about 10 years ago and we've just been pushing the message out ever since.
Yeah.
Well, Lincoln, you know, back then, 10 years ago, I bet some people actually laughed at you, but who's laughing now? Because business has been absolutely booming for you, hasn't it?
100%. If we looked back sort of 4 or 5 years ago, it was considered this sort of real extreme concept. And, you know, look at these people that are preparing and why they're stocking up. But we found when coronavirus happened and there was queues outside supermarkets, all of a sudden, everyone wanted to be a prepper. And the whole concept we found has changed, the whole narrative has switched. And I think everybody at the minute realises that it does make sense to be prepared. And obviously the government have caught on to that, hence their recent recommendations that everybody should have sort of 3 days emergency kit at all times.
Yeah, you're right. So, obviously, you know, having lived through what we've all lived through, I think people understand that they need to be better prepared, and so no one wants to see those sort of panic buying in supermarkets and so forth, do they? So is the definition of what a prepper is, or the mentality, has that shifted now? Do you see a lot just sort of like regular people coming in?
Oh, 100%. We always say if you was to walk down our high street, 9 out of 10 people could be a prepper and you wouldn't notice any difference. If we look back years ago, it was sort of 90% of our audience was middle-aged males, whereas now we are sort of a 50-50 male-female split. We cover all age groups. So it really is, prepping has become fully normalised. And like we say, most people are preppers and you wouldn't notice any difference.
Lincoln, I thought that was a mannequin next to you, and then I just saw it move. I'm so sorry, that's an actual person. Hello.
Team Lincoln.
Well, welcome to This Morning. Lincoln.
So our wonderful assistant.
Oh, well, welcome to This Morning. Lincoln, can you talk us through the essentials of what a prepper would buy there?
Well, look, the essentials we always start is food and water. Without food and water, you're not going to be surviving any emergency. So we sell, for instance, these are wet meals. So these are military MREs, they're called, meals ready to eat. And we sell these in huge volumes down to single meals. We sell month kits up to 3-year kits on a pallet. But food is essential, and we would always recommend everyone keeps a month worth of food at all times. We sell things like big water purification, lifesaver jerry cans, where you can drink if you think of the worst, dirtiest, most infected water, you can run it through that and your family can drink safe water at all times. We sell self-inflating sandbags. And this, for example, this is one of our, I suppose you'd call it the more extreme. This is our hazmat suits and respirators. So, you know, we can help people prepare for power cuts, flooding, food emergencies, all the way up to full nuclear war, essentially. We literally cover all bases of products.
Lincoln, your friend there is looking great and modelling it very well. But what sort of things does the hazmat suit prevent you from getting?
So these are all military specs. So these are the British military CBRN suits. So these, you know, chemicals, viruses, but these will go up all the way up to sort of nuclear threats. So these are, you know, the top of the top. These will protect against virtually anything you could ever experience in your lifetime.
And in terms of cost, how much would a monthly pack cost, and how much is that natty hazmat suit? What's that going for?
Honestly, I think the biggest surprise people find is we hear a lot is, you know, people can't afford to buy this sort of stuff, but we sell, you know, a month kit is about £150 to £180 of the military MREs. But they will last 25 years. You can literally put it away in a garage or a cupboard, forget about it. You know, a respirator, you're talking between £30 and £50 for a military spec respirator. The hazmat suits are about £22. So, you know, one thing we find, like water filters, you can get them for as low as £20, we sell them. So we Yeah, I think a lot of people view like the obstacle to prepping is the financial side and that people haven't got spare money to spend on it. But honestly, I think it costs a lot less than people would imagine it does off the bat.
Thank you, Lincoln.
Thanks, Lincoln.
Yeah, really, really helpful.
Who's your buddy? Let's give him a shout out while we're here.
This is Kai, the warehouse manager at Prepper Shop.
Hey, cheers,
well
mate.
done.
Appreciate it. Have a good day, Lincoln. Thank you.
Thanks, Lincoln. We're joined by Sarita Robinson now, and you've actually got a psychology and human survival, haven't you? And you are a prepper. Can you talk us through, Sarita, what sort of things that you prep for and what you've got in your cupboards?
Absolutely. So prepping is just preparing for emergencies or disasters that might happen. So for 25 years, I had a pandemic kit under my sink, which finally came in handy in March 2020. But since then, it's things like an energy blackout. So maybe a fire in a substation, you use electricity. Down in Devon, we've seen cryptosporidia and a loss of water supply. So it's just thinking about things that might go wrong and then preparing for those eventualities.
And I think it's important to say that we're not trying to scare the nation here.
No.
But I remember when it was COVID and you went into a supermarket and there was nothing on the shelves.
Awful,
and
isn't it?
for years I've laughed at these preppers, and at that moment I thought, who's laughing now?
Same,
you know,
100%.
yeah. And now I do prep myself. So yeah, we're not trying to scare anybody. We're just saying you
Well, the
will
thing
feel
is,
better
well,
with.
if you look around here, right, this is just our art department put together. Like, a lot of this stuff you would have in your cupboard anyway, right? So it's not...
That's right.
It's not taking a mass... Is this all your stuff?
This is all my stuff, yeah. So,
Amazing.
yeah.
Thanks for bringing it in.
I know, right? I feel a little bit naked without it being at home, but it's all my kit. And it's just simple things like, think about kitchen. How would you prepare for an emergency in the kitchen? A little fire extinguisher, fire blanket, burns kit. It's very cheap to buy, and once you've got it, you've got it. But if you happen to, have an incident, you burnt yourself, then you can treat that before you have to go to A&E. So it's just about thinking about what could go wrong, and then having that mindset to think, yeah, I can deal with this. I've got the kit ready.
That's the thing. If you've got first aid kit and you've got a way of purifying water, you're kind of halfway there, really, aren't you?
Yep, so the thing that I love best is the water-to-go bottle. There are other filtration devices, available. So basically, you can fill that with water, like rainwater or any sort of water that you come across. It's got a carbon filter in it, and you can just drink it and it'll filter as you go.
I've got one of those.
Yeah,
I've got two of them, actually.
They're great for reducing plastic waste as well if you're going abroad and, you don't have to rely on buying bottles and bottles of water. You can just get your water to go.
I've just invested in one of these as well.
Absolutely, yes. This is a little radio, so it's a little winds-up radio, so you can generate the charge. It's got a little battery on it. I think it would very slowly charge your mobile phone as well.
But radio too.
And it's got a light on it, which is great.
It's got a light on it, but one of the things that we might find is that electricity goes out, you can't charge your mobile. How are you going to stay in contact with, any warnings or messages that are coming out from the government? Tune your radio in, you're sorted.
Can I just ask you, Sarita, psychology and human survival, how did you get into it?
Yeah, so I think I've come from a family of preppers. My mum was from a very remote little island called Mauritius. She came over in the 1970s to work in the NHS, but she remembered, back in her childhood when there'd been a cyclone, her dad, my grandfather, had lost his income, the boat, the house, everything.
The house, right?
Yeah, and it's just that realisation that actually we're very, in the Western world, cosseted from these things that can go wrong. We don't think about how suddenly they can go wrong, but she was obviously very aware of that. So always had a good stockpile of food.
Like you said, whether it's a disaster like the pandemic or something like even something man-made like our water problems at the moment. There's more tangible reasons now to be prepared than ever before, aren't there?
I think so. I mean, if you look throughout history, we've always had challenges, even in the UK, and the pandemic was a really good reminder that things can go wrong and can go wrong quite quickly. And if you're prepared for them, then actually when that moment happens, you're not going to be in a situation where you feel that things are going out of control because you have actively prepared.
Sarita, just quickly, what is that?
So this is a really great gadget. This is an emergency hammer, and basically just keep it in your car, and if you do get in, unfortunately, to something like a traffic accident, then it will cut your seatbelt and it will smash the window.
I saw one of these advertised, because basically modern cars, you can't, if the worst comes to worst, you can't really get out as easy.
I didn't know that.
It can be quite tricky with the electrics if they fail, so yeah.
So this bag is always on hand for you to take, is all packed, is ready to go when you need it?
That's my go bag. Now, everybody thinks a go bag is a really complicated thing, and they might steer away from not creating one because they don't know what needs to go in it. But I say that, you know, young parents actually have go bags with them all the time. It's a nappy sack, basically, but for adults. So all that's got in is a change of clothes, a first aid kit, my little radio, water supply, and just things that would help me get through 48 hours away from home a little bit more comfortable.
Sarita,
Thank you, Sarita.
Also,
Thank
Sarita,
you
if
very
worst comes
much.
to worst, we'll come around your house, because
Yeah.
this little steak sauce and some nice
you.
pudding, we are in for a good feed up there.
Got to prep well.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
That was absolute. That makes your hair stand on end, doesn't it? That performance. You were...
Stick a fork in it, kids. It's done. We're finished. It's over. Fresh from last night's semi-final. Innocent is here right now. That was sensational.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you
Whoa.
so much.
Congratulations. First act through to the finals.
Yeah.
Can you remember how it felt last night? Is it all a blur now, or do you remember everything distinct?
I remember everything, every moment. I remember the change of key. I remember when I saw the lights going red. I was like, yes, we're doing this. I remember also holding those long notes. I'm like, am I holding it enough? Is it ringing enough? But yeah, it was really lovely.
And you know, you didn't just go through. You had the one of the most fits of all time on there. How does that feel? And also, Amanda's mum said you are one of her favourites. I mean, how does it feel?
So overwhelming and also unbelievable, because knowing the contestants that I was up against is really, because they're really talented. I was with them backstage, conversating with them and seeing their material, what they're doing. Absolutely mind-blowing when I heard that I was the one who was chosen. I'm like, wow, me, you know? So it's really, really amazing.
Innocent, when you're singing in a competition like
Yes.
that, do you know it's going, like, do you prep it in a different way to say if you're singing in church? Because you know that you have to nail that one performance, right?
Yes,
So when you're stepping out there, do you have a good idea within, like, the first 5 seconds, like, yeah, OK, this is going to be great, you know, I've hit my first note, or, like, do you not think about it? Like, do you just lose yourself in the zone?
I think for me, before walking on stage, sometimes I check the voice. Is the voice good? Oh,
Yeah.
this is going to be a good performance.
Yeah.
Sometimes I know. But yesterday, I didn't know because the voice was not really feeling fresh as usual. But when I stepped
Yeah, we
up...
noticed that. You thought it was a little rough around the edges.
But when I sang the first 2 phrases, I was like, yeah, this
Yeah,
is
we're
it.
gonna get there.
This is happening.
Nice.
So Amanda said you're like the best opera singer they've ever had. And there was a time in your life where you were told that you'll never be an opera singer.
I was told, Innocent, you've got a beautiful voice, but I'm afraid it's not good enough. You won't succeed in Europe. So it was really but for me to have been told that I've been the best in 17 years, having watched the other contestants who have been there before, I was like, this is unbelievable.
So, Innocent, what's your backstory? So you obviously you're South African.
Yeah.
Did you start? Is there much of an opera scene in South Africa? Did you start? When did you first get into opera?
So it was when I was 16. In South Africa, there's a huge choral background. We sing, the choral is really quite alive. And then opera, it stems out of choral as well in South Africa, because we've got people singing in choral settings, and then they sing opera at the side.
Okay.
So opera is not that huge, but that's when I started to sing opera, because we've got like competitions where young school kids would sing in the competition opera.
And Innocent, I mean, you've been very busy. You've even managed to get married in the meantime to a very beautiful lady, may I add. Where is she?
She's around here.
Yeah, oh, there you are. All right, Nye.
Hi,
How are you?
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
What do you think of all his success?
It's fantastic. I'm so proud of him.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a dream come true for
Nye,
both of us.
you got a good voice yourself.
No, not
Could
at
we
all. I
see
only
you-
sing in the shower.
Could we see you popping out on the final and just
Not at all.
and it's just like, no, I love her. But no, I need to win this.
Innocent, you've not had your honeymoon yet, have you?
Not yet. And we are planning to go there very soon and do a really nice honeymoon. So if we win this money, might as well, you know, do the right thing.
It's
Well,
all
listen,
going on your honeymoon.
Best of luck, Innocent.
Oh.
Britain's
Yes.
Got Talent continues to be one all this week. 8 p.m. can be streamed on ITVX and catch up with this guy's last performance last night on ITVX as well. Thank you so much.
Good luck,
Best of
Innocent.
luck.
Yeah, and congratulations.
Thank you so much for
Okay.
having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're lovely.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning. It looks fun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Stressful fun, but fun. Race ahead of the Race Across the World finale tomorrow night, 9 p.m. on BBC One. We are joined by this year's final 4 pairs. Best friends Alfie, it's hopefully still best friends Alfie and Owen. Hopefully still mother and daughter Eugenie and Isabel. Brother and sister James and Betty, and married couple, fingers crossed, Stephen and Viv.
I keep looking at you and I think, oh, who looks £20,000 richer? Who looks 20? I know you're not allowed to give anything away. Now, you guys, you were best friends at school, weren't you? What made you take part? Have you always wanted to go travelling together?
Yeah, like we kind of figured out pretty quick when we became best mates, you know, through school that we both liked travelling and stuff like that. And we were away in Brazil at the time, actually, and it just randomly came up as an ad on your phone, didn't it? And you were like, do you want to give it a go? And I was like, yeah. And then that was it.
You're in from when we last saw this show, you two are in the lead.
Yeah,
Okay.
bottled it a bit though, didn't we? Because we were 24 hours ahead in the previous leg.
Right.
So
He's never happy. You're never happy, ever.
You're literally racing around the world. How
and
can
he's
you not be
still
happy?
moaning.
But it takes a certain, especially with friends, because I think family you allow a lot more, but with friends it takes a certain disposition, I think. Like, I've been travelling with friends, like, away, and by the time you get back, you're like, we're still great friends, but we might not be the best travelling companions. So has it always worked out with you two, do you think?
I think it's a completely... It's not like going on holiday.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot more intense than that. And I think it because it was more like a lifestyle than a holiday, I think we just kind of still, like, lived independently. It wasn't like we were on holiday together. We just had to put up with each other. There wasn't a choice.
Yeah.
Never happy, is he?
No, he's not. Yeah, how do you think I felt for 2 months dealing with that?
You just give him the prize
Yeah,
now.
honestly, I'll take it all.
You've all been on a journey, you know, but you've been on quite an emotional journey as well. I mean, Alfie, you had a bit of a moment where you lit a lantern for your mum. I think we might have a little clip of that.
I just kind of
There we
want that
go.
sensation of being able to see her again.
So you lit this lantern for your mum, and did you find it an emotional process, this whole show?
Yeah, I think with this moment in particular, I think I always knew that it was going to come out as you know, part of my backstory and things like that, and I knew I was going to talk about it at one point or another. But the lanterns kind of felt so right because we had a tradition in my family where we lit Chinese lanterns before they got banned. Because they started just burning everything down.
Yeah.
So we had that tradition anyway, and to be able to kind of take that onto that moment kind of felt perfect. So it was a lot less awkward than it would have been in another situation, and I think that's kind of why I was so comfortable in the situation.
I guess as well, though, like the whole experience is so heightened and so intense that those moments you get of contemplation, therefore those emotions get heightened in those moments. Let's speak to
Eugenie and Isabel.
Eugenie and Isabel.
Yeah.
12 minutes behind. That's all.
Is it a close final? Can you tell us that?
We can't say. It's exciting though, isn't it?
Very,
So
very.
what's the dynamic here? How do we get on? Are we good friends? Are we?
One another.
Oh, hang on a second. We hope this show would bring us together. What's going on here?
Do you know what? We've been meeting people that say, "You still talking?" You're gonna say, yes.
Is it like classic mum and daughter?
You know,
ups and downs all the time.
The love's always there,
Yeah.
but maybe the like isn't so much sometimes.
There was a little bit of drama last week, wasn't there? Did you steal somebody's taxi?
We did not steal the taxi. We did
Believe
not
you've
steal
asked that question.
No.
right.
Okay.
Let's clear this matter up.
Okay.
It was not definitively anybody's taxi. I happened to get into it first.
Right.
And Isabel, I coaxed Isabel to get into it. Now, what you don't see is that we actually asked if we could all get in.
Right.
But we were told no.
And
And
is
if
that...
we didn't get in, they would have got in.
Stephen, Liv, is that what happened?
Shut it down,
happened?
Stephen.
Genuine didn't make a difference because, you know, we met them again shortly. It made no difference to the race. At the time, I was sure it was our taxi, 100%. No doubt about it.
By the way, another way, doesn't matter when you travel to the other side of the world. Exactly the same thing happens every high street in the UK.
But it made no difference to the race at all. It was none at all.
So you don't hold any grudges
Oh, God,
then?
no.
James and Betty.
We still caught up 23 hours,
literally,
didn't we?
it was fine.
James and Betty, let's move on to you. This experience brought you closer?
Yeah, without any pressure on, really. It's sort of just shown that there's someone else to sort of talk to if we need them. We'd never sort of go to each other for advice or speak to about anything, you know, personal.
What's the age gap between you two?
I'm 4 years older than James.
Right, OK.
So it's one of them where...
So annoying little brother could have
Yeah.
I'm an annoying little brother, I get it.
Yeah, we always had an older brother as well, didn't we? So...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And James, you found out a lot about your sister on this show, didn't you? Including, you know, your sister's been suffering with a health condition, which did it help you understand your sister's health condition a lot more?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we hadn't spoken about it closely like that before. Obviously, I knew what it was and I was aware of it, but to hear how she sort of feels about it and how she feels about herself and what she can and can't do was a little bit more difficult. So that's where you saw the more emotional side of me come out.
I guess it's stuff, when you're in the same family, it's stuff you just end up getting by on a day-to-day basis and you probably never take that beat and stop. And it's great the show's giving you the opportunity. By the way, it's great that you're highlighting it as well. I knew nothing about it until I went on the BBC website.
Thank you.
And the other morning I was just looking at the news and now I know a lot more than I did. So let's take a look at that if you don't mind.
Shortly after my 16th birthday, I got diagnosed with MRKH. It means that I don't have a uterus, I don't have a womb, and I only have one kidney as well.
Brave is now probably an understatement. I was thinking of a new word for it, but yeah. I think... Can someone just come hug me, please?
Oh, how does it feel watching that? Because that's
tearing up again.
Yeah. Oh, it's so emotional, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, but that's just sort of the natural... It brought that out of you, the race. It was so natural and everything you see is just so us. You know, people think a lot of it is staged and probably everyone gets, is it? But it's not. It's completely natural. All the emotions you see are just raw, so...
Stephen and Liv, have you had a good time? You had a good time, Viv? Do you have a good on the show?
We had a great time, actually. Yes.
You seem to be like the more relaxed contestants, I think.
I think we've lived a little. Let's put it that way.
Proving age is but a number.
With
you
age
two.
comes a level of experience and perspective, perhaps, that you just take it as a given.
But, you know, you two are a huge example because you've had a mini heart attack, you've had a mini stroke, haven't you? And you are still out there making adventures and you're not settling and you're going. I think that's so impressive for people.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's just what you do, isn't
We worked on a bucket list and we did everything on the bucket list. And then the race came up and so we thought, well, that's a huge adventure. Let's try that.
Also, never bet on the hare, always bet on the
got all the
tortoise.
money? Who's got all the money?
You just never know. And I just keep looking at you all thinking, who looks 20,000
Well, with that tan, Stephen does, but we'll see.
Yeah, the final race across the world.
Yeah.
It airs tomorrow at 9 p.m. on BBC One.
Yeah, it's a great
good
show.
luck. Can't wait to watch. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
Now, our next guest was just 20 years old when she was involved in a horrible accident that almost cost her life.
Lauren Doherty was walking home from a night out with some friends in North Yorkshire when she stepped out into the road and collided with an oncoming delivery van. Her injuries included a broken pelvis, a broken wrist and a broken neck, which left her paralysed from the neck down.
16 years on, Lauren has used her experience to educate others about road safety and continues to spread the message that what happened to her could happen to anyone.
Yeah, and Lauren, alongside her good friend Rebecca, join us now this morning. Good morning to both
Good
of you.
morning.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Good morning, ladies.
Lauren, thank you for coming in and sharing your story. Maybe we can take you back to the night of your accident. What can you tell us about that occasion?
I'd gone out into town with some friends just for a few drinks and to watch a friend's band play. I was walking home later on the next morning and stepped out in front of a delivery van. It was thrown like 30 feet on the road. And yeah, ended up with lots of injuries.
I mean, some of those injuries that we listed in the introduction, broken pelvis, broken neck, broken wrist, I mean, that's a traumatic experience to go through. What are your memories? Do you have any memories of that time?
I remember going out that night, like early on, and then the next thing I remember, I woke up in hospital 3 days later. Just I think my mum or my dad was like the first face that I saw.
A bit of a blur, wasn't it?
But the police people who arrived on the scene, they stayed with you while the ambulance was going to arrive, and they actually didn't think that you were going to make it. Your injuries was so bad, and actually it was early in the morning, and there was a postman who was out and about posting, and he had to have therapy for the trauma of witnessing the incident.
It's an extraordinarily brutal thing for you to have been through and for those people around you. How long were you in hospital?
16 months.
So 16 months.
So like 3 weeks in intensive care. I spent 8 months in Sheffield. The spinal units is like an hour away from my home.
Yeah.
So it was quite scary.
Sure. And you were also told that you would never breathe independently again. You were always going to be on a ventilator. Explain how that was working and your reaction to that as well.
I remember being told that I'd never breathe again. And I don't really like being told no or being told what to do. So I was kind of determined that I was going to be able to come off it. I think at the time that people would say, no, yeah, that you'll be able to do it. But now, kind of when I speak to like my mum or like my respiratory physio that looked after me then, I think, yeah, they thought that there was like no chance that I was going to be able to do it. But I still have to use it like on a night because I get really like tired and it just gives like my body a break. But I'm pretty much off it most of the time unless like overnight.
But Lauren, you're fiercely independent. You're very, very strong too. I know you lived with your mum and dad for 6 years, but now you actually live on your own too.
Yeah, I built like a purpose-built bungalow. So I'm kind of 10 minutes away from my mum and dad. I'm near all my family.
Yeah.
So it's just nice to have my own house. Kind of because when I went back to live with my mum and dad, like my youngest brother was still at home, so he was only 9. And having like 2 carers 24 hours a day, you know, living like in quite a small space, it's just a lot better to have my own house.
And your independence as well, which is so key.
Absolutely.
How did you come to meet Lauren Rebecca?
My husband and I owned a complex care company for children and young adults for 8 years, and that's where we met Lauren. So we oversaw the delivery of her care, and I always, when on first meeting Lauren, always sort of asked her, what do you want to come of this? You know, what do you see happening? Because she'd, in my eyes, she'd overcome so much with her injuries, her hospital stays.
You defied all the odds, right?
Yeah. I'm a firm believer that everybody deserves a focus and a purpose in life.
Correct, yeah.
And so I kind of gently persuaded, Lauren might say differently.
Twisted your arm.
Yeah, to, you know, something she always wanted to do was promote road safety and basically kind of in the hope that no one else would ever go through what she'd been done. So that's how we met, through the care company, and after we came away from care, I continued working alongside her because we do it on a voluntary basis, and it just grew from there, really.
I do think that's the best outcome to turn something positive and try and help anybody else in the future too. So what do you do? Is it all different ages of kids? How do you do it?
Absolutely. So we started off just in a really small country primary school, my daughter's school at the time, just to test the water. Yeah. I honestly, at that time, didn't know how the message was going to be received. I was very aware that Lauren's story is very overwhelming, so you have to, you know...
tailor-make it, depending on the age group.
And also very aware that, you know, children, they're not always aware about disability. Yeah. So physically, you've seen someone in a wheelchair and alongside Lauren's story, you know, there was an element, I didn't know if it was going to be too much and overwhelm the children. But 8 years down the line, we know that's not the case. We know that even though her message is hard-hitting, that is what is needed.
Well, it's what gets it across, I think.
Absolutely. So, as I say, we started off with primary school children, and we now talk to all age groups, so sixth formers, colleges,
prisons.
We work with prisons as well.
What's it like for you, Lauren, being able to do that, being able to go and share your story and help people understand the importance of road safety?
I really enjoyed doing it, and I think that enjoy doing it. It gives me something that's like mine. It's like a job. I think I get out of it just as much as kind of like what people said I give to other people. It's kind of, but with like primary school children, that like we'll talk and then we'll give them a chance to ask any questions, which I think is like when you really notice like how much they've been paying attention.
And primary school children don't have a filter on them either, so the questions range from, you know...
funny to heartbreaking to...
I think the most one that we always remember, the most one that had an impact, a little girl said, "In your dreams, can you walk again?" And for a primary school child to think so deeply and to consider Lauren in that way has always stayed with us, hasn't it? So...
And what are your key messages when you go in? Because I think we've all been guilty of it at times.
Very much so.
You're
distracted by our phones.
Distracted by your phones, you've got headphones in, or you're just even thinking of what you've got to do on a day. There are so many times, you know, when you kind of, you're not concentrating properly.
So the key message is that you'll... For the younger children, it's, you know, very much hold hands with your mums and dads as they grow up, like you say, with the headphones on the phones, mobile phone usage. But also when they start to learn to drive, it's being aware as a driver about pedestrians, which obviously was the case with Lauren. And then I guess the message is decisions we make in life can have consequences, and Lauren is an example of that. But the project has grown to such that, yes, decisions we make in life have consequences, but actually the positivity to come from Lauren's story as well. There's a saying, out of adversity comes opportunity, and to me, Lauren's a shining example of that. So it's kind of, the road safety message is there, but also the story of personal resilience, and that things happen in life, but Lauren is an example that you can turn that around.
What would you like to say, Lauren, to our viewers this morning who are watching you and listening to this story?
Sorry.
We have a saying at Road Safety Talks, and that is never say never, because sometimes the impossible is possible. So I don't want to put words in Lauren's mouth, but we have that in our office, don't we?
Yeah, it's on the wall.
Seems like a very pertinent saying to hold on to
and a
as well.
great reminder for everybody. And the work you're doing is absolutely amazing, especially when it's not, you know, necessarily taught in school. So I think it's absolutely wonderful what you're doing. And thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Great to meet you.
Thank
Oh, hello.
you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. Our next guest is a local hero who's been a huge part of his community in the Wirral for almost 50 years. But retired newsagent Nelson Shardy is now facing a fight to remain in the UK.
Nelson first emigrated to the UK from Ghana in 1977, and despite spending the last 5 decades raising a family, paying taxes, performing jury service, and even being honoured with the local Bravery Award, the Home Office have now informed him he isn't a British citizen.
After being told he faces a costly and lengthy legal battle, Nelson's son Jacob started a crowdfunding campaign, which very quickly surpassed and then doubled its £20,000 target. And as the community continues to rally around Nelson, he joins us now with his son Jacob to tell us where they are with the whole situation. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in. It's lovely to meet you both. Nelson, it's lovely to have you here with us this morning.
Thank you.
I'm sorry it's under these circumstances, but we're going to get to the bottom of it. We're going to work out how we can help and certainly see if the Home Office can come to their senses. Let's go back to when you first got here, 1977?
Seven.
What brought you over to the UK in the first place?
Yes, I came here to study in Southampton College of Higher Education. My course was accountancy. And then during my first year, it was okay. And money was flowing from home, from my parents, because I came here as a private student. I haven't got any government sponsorship.
Yeah.
And then this second year, 78, there was a military coup d'etat, which means the army officers has taken power in Ghana. And they restricted foreign exchange. And we, those private students, were the people who were affected most because they said there was not enough foreign exchange, but if you are government-sponsored, they will release funds for you.
Right.
So my course tutor was very concerned. After the first coup d'etat, there was another one, and I think it was a third one. In the end, there was nothing coming from Ghana to pay my school fees. So my course tutor advised me that the Ghana government are not releasing funds for private students.
Yeah.
So the best thing to get a job so that I can get some money and pay the arrears I have incurred. And then my bank balance also. So I started working. I did that. And then later on, he advised me it will be hard for the course you are doing to work at the same time, attend college.
Right.
So I started full-time work with a British Mother's Pride bakery. I worked there, and I make a living from that. I applied for my national insurance number. I got it. In the end, I bought a house on mortgage. That went through perfectly. Nobody told me anything that I could not go through that process. So I regarded myself as a British citizen.
Okay. So you came over as a student. Things changed beyond your control with the coup d'etat.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you find yourself having to work over here. You start working for lots of big companies, you get your mortgage, you pay taxes, you create a life over here, you're a citizen. It's you know, and essentially you've been here for decades, and then all of a sudden, having never left the country, so you'd never needed a passport, is it one of your parents died?
My mother passed away.
So you want to go back to Ghana?
For the funeral.
And it was only when you went to apply for your passport, what did the Home Office say?
I passed it through a solicitor in Liverpool. And then when I went in and told them the whole story, they came back with a story that they would take me through another system called 10-year route before I can get my passport. So they gave me a 2.5 years visa. I was really shocked, but I needed it.
Yeah.
And Jacob, you now find yourself as a family wrapped up in this system, and you actually don't really know quite where it's going.
No, so like you say, we don't know where it's going at all.
No.
It's been constant back and forth for the past 3 years now with the Home Office, and there's been no clear answer of what to do. And it's heartbreaking, to be honest. Like, obviously, when I found out about this news, Like, it was a massive shock to me.
I'm sure.
Like, growing up, my dad was a massive role model to me and the community and the people around him. He's done so much for the community. And for this to come up, it was just like a complete kick in the teeth.
To try and understand, it's really hard to understand that he's been here for over 4 decades. He's had a business, he's done jewellery surface, he's had a mortgage, so he's got national insurance.
He won a bravery award.
But all of those things, rather than the bravery, I think the technical, legal things that he's had to apply for and achieved, that none of that ever amounts to being granted citizenship. And to be told that now he has, not only it's just like, do you know what, it's a process, we'll put you through it, but it could be tens of thousands of pounds to go through this process, and he could fail. There is a scenario where he could get deported.
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily the deportation. It's more the fact that it's the cost of the fees. So, like you say, it's going to be tens of thousands of pounds. That's that's including the NHS surcharge where we have to pay. It's including every 3 years, every 2 years, we'd have to pay for the visa for him to stay here. By that time ends, he'll be 84 years of age.
And there's the NHS.
And also on top of that, it's the Home Office's legal fees if we lose. So we don't know how much all this is going to be, and hence why we've raised the GoFundMe. And honestly, and thank you to the bottom of our hearts.
Because you were looking at 20,000, right? And how much do you have right now?
£40,000.
That's what it is at the moment, over £40,000. That's you in front of your newsagents. Look at that.
That's what people think of you, Nelson. That must feel really good.
I feel really
humbled. You are humble. Jacob, the thing is, you've raised over £40,000. Fingers crossed this works. It's fine. You don't need that money. And if you don't need the money's going to get redistributed. Am I right in saying that?
So we've designated 2 charities for this. One of them is the Whittle Food Bank. It's just a local food bank near ours. And the other one's the Boaz Trust. This one is like a housing and immigration for the Greater Manchester.
Fantastic.
Hopefully, we can give the money to them.
Nelson, thank you for coming in and sharing your story. We know that it's an ongoing battle. This is the extensive right of reply from the Home Office. They just said it was inappropriate to comment on active legal proceedings, which, of course, is what they have to say. But the frustration that you and lots of the people who have supported the crowdfunding is really tangible. Someone who's such an integral part of the community and has done so much, Nelson. Yes, please do.
Everybody who managed to donate the little money they earn towards this cause, may I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And any time you hear a bird chirping in the air or birds singing in trees, know that it is Nelson and the family sending their thankfulness to you all. And those people also who couldn't donate but send us words of encouragement all over the world. May God bless you all.
Thank you, Nelson.
Thank you, Nelson.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you both for being here this morning.
We will stay in touch and make sure we know what happens.
We'll get Jess on the case too, I think. She was chatting in makeup. Thank you.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. Before that, though, are you doing it in the bedroom or rather not doing it? Research reveals that 1 in 6 couples sleep, Cat Deely, alone. Is it possible to perfect life for partners to have separate bedrooms?
Well, Emma Parsons-Reid and her husband Kevin say sleeping in different rooms is the key to their happy marriage.
However, Linda Lusardi disagrees and says it's detrimental to any relationship. Lovely to see you all this morning.
Morning.
Emma and Kevin, thank you for joining us in your separate bedrooms. Emma, how did this all start?
Well, I've been married a couple of times before and I got used to a gap of having a bed to myself. So when I met the wonderful Kev, my soulmate, we tried very hard to share a bed together. He'd been on his own as well. There was a lot of, kicking out of bed, hotness, snoring, and we just weren't compatible at all sleeping together. I mean, in the bed, actually sleeping. Everything else, perfect. But actually sleeping, it was awful. And we tried everything we could. And in the end, I had to put him on the sofa with the dog when he stayed over. I just said, I can't take any more because I was so bad-tempered the following day with no sleep.
But now you have got separate rooms, but you do communicate. You've got a method of communication should you need him.
Oh, you mean my bell, or you mean just shouting?
Oh, well, either. Which one do you find works best, Emma?
Well, for service, like a cup of tea, my bell works. So he'll come and bring me a nice cup of tea, but I just shout otherwise. But yeah, I have my earplugs in at night. I can't hear anything.
Kev, how did you feel when Emma turned round and said, right, I'm really sorry this isn't working, you're going to have to sleep on the sofa with the dog?
No problem at all. As I say, if it made her happy, I didn't care.
So he's not, and there you go. You see, he's happy to make you happy. You need to ring the bell, Emma. Let's get the two of you together. And while you're doing that, and Kevin comes and joins you in your bed, let's come to Linda.
He shook his head as the bell went.
He really does as he's told, doesn't he?
It's Pavlov's dog, essentially.
Look how much nicer her bedroom is than his.
So much nicer.
Very tidy. So, Linda, your concern is, though, separate bedrooms is detrimental to a relationship.
I think so, because you know, you've chosen that person as your partner. You want to be together as much as possible. And I think at bedtime is the time when you have a quiet time, when the kids are put to bed, and it's the time you catch up on your day. I think it's really important. And I'd hate not waking up next to my partner and going to bed and waking up in the morning together. I think it's really important. You know, it helps your relationship, helps you bond. And I mean, it's not all about sex, but the intimacy of just being under Sam's arm when we're watching TV at night and just chatting about things. I'd really miss that.
Yeah. Because it's one of those things where, because of our schedule here, from Monday to Thursday, I sleep in the guest bedroom, and then the rest of the time, because otherwise I get up at 5 and I want to fall asleep.
Well, that's logistics.
Schedule.
You can't. You've got an odd job that makes you get up at that, so you have to. But if you don't have to, I mean, I know that you know, she's got a snorer.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't got a snorer, so I'm lucky. But you know, I do think if you can sleep together, why not?
Yeah. Let's go back. Kev, how do you navigate the things that Linda's just talking about there? So the intimacy side of things and just the opportunity just to be with Emma and just to have a little cuddle and a chat.
Well, no problem at all, really. End of the night, we can come to bed together for a bit, and then first thing in the morning, I came into bed this morning, so no problem at all.
I'm always up for it.
Emma, does he always have to bring you a cup of tea in order to sort of get access to the bed?
This is aphrodisiac.
But on a weird, like, it clearly works for them. They clearly love each other. That, like, surely if it means that she gets a bit more sleep and so does he, it might work out better in the long run.
I'm
for
sure
everybody.
it works out for some people, but I just think separate rooms ends up you having separate lives.
Yeah.
You know, because you get up and get dressed and get on with your day. The other person might still be asleep. I don't know. You just lose that interaction that I think is really important.
Jan's been in touch. Says, my mum and dad have had separate rooms for 30 years. They celebrated their 60th wedding anniversary last year. Vanessa says, we have had separate duvets for the past few years rather than beds. That's the best thing we ever did. Emma, did you ever try anything like that? So sort of separate duvets so Kev couldn't nick the covers, or you weren't under the same hot duvet?
Or you weren't too hot?
No, he was out. I'm too old to try to navigate it. We obviously, when we go to hotels, we can't afford 2 separate bedrooms, so we have to get really drunk. And we go to sleep then. And we have we try and get a bed a mile long, you know. Yeah, so yeah, I've given up trying to, and he has too, haven't you? And
no problem at all.
We've got a great marriage, and who cares? We're Victorian. We have separate bedrooms. We can
see
separate bathroom would be lovely.
Yeah, I'd rather have a separate bathroom.
You go separate bathroom.
Yeah.
Kev, what do you say to people? Do your friends obviously know that you have separate beds? What do you say to your friends who sort of question sort of the relationship because you've got separate rooms?
I tell them to mind their own business because it's my business and I shouldn't have to make excuses, say that my marriage is strong. I mean, you're always having to explain yourself all the time, and why should I? What goes on in our house is our business. But I know a lot of my friends, as soon as their children leave home, they've moved into a separate bedroom. People just don't like vocalising it because, as Linda says, it gives the impression that your marriage is over, and in some cases it may well be, but for us and other couples like us, it isn't. We're strong, aren't we? And we're stronger because we have separate bedrooms.
Well, It was interesting when we spoke to Deirdre about this morning, because Deirdre was very like, if it works for you and that's what makes everything tick and work and it's better for everybody, that's great. But if it's hiding something else, then that's an entirely different...
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it, Deirdre? Because you can see from Linda's perspective her take on it. But when you hear Emma and Kev, anecdotally, it works brilliantly for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think it's, you know, it's whatever works for you is what's important. The thing that you do have to be wary of, though, is like a partner saying, I really want you to move out because I can't cope with your snoring anymore, when actually what they're not saying is, I don't want to have sex with you anymore. So whatever the underlying issues are, you know, you've got to be prepared to really tackle those, whether it is that you're gonna sleep in the same room, the same bed, or you're not going to. It's just got to be honest with one another and deal with what actually is going on.
Well, I think it works if you're both happy with the with that arrangement.
Yeah.
But if you're not, then it must be quite upsetting to be told to you're exiled to the spare room.
It certainly sounds like there's no question that Emma and Kev are still very busy.
Yeah.
When Kev's allowed into the room.
That's a very nice way of putting it.
Yeah, it is. Sharon said, I went to sleep in the spare room after an argument with my husband, and I'm still there 2 years later. The best thing ever. I love having my own room. We've been married for 39 years, and we're very happy. Emma, did you envisage when you got together with Kev, because clearly, as you said, you'd had a couple of partners previously, that this would actually be the making of the relationship, having separate beds?
I think as you get older, you're more... I felt that I could say to him, look, it's not working for me. If I'd have been younger and more impressionable, I would have been scared of upsetting a man. But now I think, no, it's you know, I want what I want. You know, I'm important. I come first. You know, you benefit. Kevin has cancer treatment now, which means he's lost weight. He doesn't snore. I'm menopausal and stopped smoking, and now I snore. So we've reversed the reasons why we sleep apart, and, you know... He wears earplugs now.
You are quite a team. Can we just ask Kevin, how is your treatment going? It's great to see you looking well.
It's going OK at the moment, thank you. Yeah, I've just started immunotherapy again, but it's going OK, thank you.
Excellent. Well, we were actually running a poll this morning and we were saying, would you sleep in a separate bed to your partner? And it's overwhelming. 63% of people say yes. 37% say no. You're shocked about that.
I am shocked. I am.
Yeah, I think that quite a few people struggle to sleep, and so kind of prioritise that maybe a bit more.
I do think you lose a connection with someone when you're not in the same room. They seem to have a fantastic bond.
They do.
But I do think, I mean, I do know people. In fact, my mum and dad, before they passed away, they had separate rooms for many, many years, and they did leave completely separate lives.
Yeah, amazing. Well, it's clearly working for Em and Kev. Thank you for joining us this morning and sharing a little bit of insight into your lives. And, Kev, best of luck with the ongoing treatment as well. Yeah. And keep that tea coming, Kev. Keep a smile on your face.
Thank you.
And, Linda, lovely to see you.
Thank you so much.
Russ got in touch and he said separate houses works even better for him, apparently.
starts with bedrooms, then bathrooms, then houses.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
It's something that's currently affecting millions of women around the world. So why is perimenopause still so misunderstood?
Yeah, so after several visits to the doctor and months of experiencing a range of debilitating symptoms, including brain fog, difficulty sleeping, mood swings and depression, it was an item on This Morning that helped Tanya Bardsley realise she was perimenopausal.
She's joining us now to share her story alongside GP and renowned menopause specialist, Dr Louise Newson. Welcome to both of you.
Hello.
Hello. So, obviously, this morning...
Yeah, she saved my life.
You. So what was you doing? Was you just watching the TV?
Well, it was actually my mum that was watching it, and she was like, Tanya, you need to ring the GP again, because she watched Dr Louise, who said, I've been going to the GP... I went to the GP about 3 times.
Yeah.
I was suicidal. It was like Dr Evil had come into my body, and it was just taken over my body.
What are your symptoms
wasn't
like?
Myself. Feeling worthless, suicidal thoughts. I've got ADHD, so that it just amplified my ADHD.
But when you got tested, everything seemed normal.
They said the bloods were fine, so GPs just say your bloods are fine and just sent me on my way. And I just thought I was going crazy. I went back 3 times I went to the GP. And then my mum was sat watching This Morning, and Dr Louise was doing a phone-in and said it doesn't matter about the bloods, it's just about the symptoms. So then, near me, I went and found there was a lovely lady called Dr Laura, who just put me on HRT straight away. She said, and she just agreed with Dr. Louise. And yeah, it's completely saved my life. Thank you to this morning.
It affected your life, didn't it?
Honestly, it took out. I was actually thinking of ways to take my own life. It was that bad. I couldn't live like that anymore.
And Tanya, did it come along relatively quickly, those symptoms, or like did you notice, or did it, like you said, it was exacerbated by your ADHD? But did symptoms happen quite quickly, or was it more sort of you're getting a little?
It was just getting more and more intense. But at first, I thought it was my because I had ADHD. I thought it was because I was drinking too much. So then I took all the steps, stopped drinking, and after 4 months of not drinking, I thought, well, I still don't feel how I should. I mean, my skin was better, saved loads of money, and I didn't feel as, like, suicidal anymore. So it did help massively. But I still just had no motivation to live.
Yeah.
Like, everything was hard, and yeah, it's just awful. And especially I've got 4 children, all at different varying stages of their hormones. It just affects the whole family.
And just out of interest, how quickly did it work once you started taking HRT? How quickly did you feel better?
I would say, like, in 3 days.
Within 3 days?
Felt... I don't know whether it was just in my mind or what, but, yeah, it was literally... It was that quick.
OK.
Dr. Louise, what's the... Thank you, firstly. The difference in symptoms between perimenopause and menopause. Can you talk us through the difference?
It's actually the same, and actually they're the same symptoms often that happen with PMS, PMDD, that time before periods. And all it is hormonal fluctuations. So our brain produces estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, as do our ovaries. But what's happened historically is we've always talked about a woman's periods. Does she have periods or not? Therefore, is she menopausal or not? Because, as you know, you have to be a year without your periods to officially have that menopause badge. But actually, perimenopause can last 10 years or so before periods stop, because our hormones start to change. And our brains like things constant. You know, if we get hangry, a bit hungry and angry, our brain doesn't like it because we've not been fed. The same with our hormones when we've got fluctuations or low levels, but it also affects other chemicals in our brains like dopamine, serotonin. So often people have quite awful thoughts, and we know the commonest symptoms are the symptoms affecting our brains. So brain fog, low mood, anxiety. Often people get really intrusive, very dark thoughts, and although they know often that they don't want to act on them, it's quite different to clinical depression. People do have insights, but it's really scary. Like you say, it's like your brain's been taken over by someone else, but it's not working the same because it doesn't have those hormonal chemicals in the brain.
And the fact that it doesn't show up in your bloods either.
And that makes you feel like you're going crazy.
You think that no one's listening. So why is it not picked up?
Well, the hormone levels change all the time. So if you had your hormone blood test done every hour, there would be some changes. And that's why it's really important that you don't use a blood test to make the diagnosis. If the blood test is abnormal, it can be useful. But actually, normally, it's giving women enough information. So if you have the right information, you can say, right, I'm having all these symptoms. Is there anything else in my life that might have triggered it? And we know things like ADHD can worsen, definitely when you've got this chaos of hormones going on. So often in medicine, we don't always need a blood test. You know, we can make a diagnosis from a really good history. You know, if someone has migraine, for example, or clinical depression, we take a good story and then we say, well, look, I'm going to try this treatment for 3 months and see if it helps. If it doesn't, we'll change the treatment or we'll think of another diagnosis. But actually, often when women have the information, the first thing I'll often say to people is, do you think any of these symptoms could be related to your hormones? And if that person's saying yes, we need to be taking that forward. Because, as you know, hormones are really safe. We're just topping up. And in perimenopause, we start with a low dose and then gradually increase.
I was going to say, so HRT works pretty well with perimenopause.
It usually does. It's about the right dose and types. Because of the 3 hormones, they all work differently. So sometimes people might have tried maybe just a low dose of one hormone or estrogen and progesterone, and it might be the testosterone. So it's making sure that it's tailored to that individual.
It must be so lovely to see that you help so many people, Dr. Louise. How does it actually feel?
Do you know what? It feels very humbling, and a lot of my work, you know, through the app, through the website, through my podcast, is reaching people that I'll never meet. But I've just come back from Abu Dhabi lecturing there, and people were in tears meeting me because they said I've literally helped their lives. But it's lovely. But, you know, there's 1.2
billion menopausal women. Globally, 5% receive hormones. You know, so I spend a lot of my time worrying about what I'm not doing rather than gloating on what I am doing.
Like my sister went to the GP just last week and they just said, oh, your bloods are fine, and sent her on her way.
Was you like, here's Louise?
Yeah. And but the average woman can't afford to go and seek someone private, so they're all suffering. And the first time I went to the GP, I wasn't even given a blood test. I was just told I was too young for perimenopause. It's not that. And they suggested, oh, would you like an antidepressant? Well, it's not that, and it's just hormones. And with my undiagnosed ADHD, I've always been given antidepressants, and they numbed me, and they're so bad. They were so bad for me. Yeah. So it's quite scary.
Thank you for coming in, sharing your story.
Thank you,
Thank
Tanya.
you always.
For having me.
Thank you, Dr. Louise.
No, thank you.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning. Now, they make up some of the most emotional moments on TV of all time, but as journalist Andrew Pearce recently found out, not all family reunions are like the tear-jerking scenes we love to see on screen.
Now, almost 50 years after his biological mother left him in a children's home, just weeks after he was born, Andrew decided it was the right time to finally track her down.
What followed was an extraordinary set of twists and turns, leading him on a journey across the UK to find answers he desperately wanted.
And as he opens up about the story in his new book, Finding Margaret, he's joining us in the studio right now. There's the book.
First time you've seen it?
This is so exciting for
Is this the
I've
first
never
time?
written a book before, and I've not seen the book before. So can I
Would
touch
you like
it?
to hold
I
it?
would.
There you go.
You've never written a book before?
Never written a book before.
Wow.
People assume I have.
Yeah.
I've been involved in lots of political books before, but never had my own book with my name on the front.
Well, Andrew, thanks for
joining
joining
What a book to
us.
write about.
It's so funny, because this is a story, and, you know, you're Catholic, I'm Catholic, and you are as well. I wouldn't say it's an exclusively Catholic story, but I've seen this play out so many times, especially that post-war period of women maybe having children out of wedlock, and then this story ends up kind of happening, the adoptive story. So tell us where this started for you.
So I'd agonised for years about finding my birth mother, because I was adopted. The official adoption went through when I was 3 years old. I'd been in the orphanage for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
When my mum and dad found me and fell in love with this curious little boy and brought me up in Swindon and had a lovely life. So I felt plunged. I had all this guilt about would I find my birth mother because of my mum and dad.
Yeah.
But Dad had said to me privately, you know, you should find your birth mother because she used to visit you all the time. Because Margaret Connolly, that was her name, she christened me Patrick James Connolly, used to visit me in the orphanage regularly. So it was a huge thing for her to then give me up. Yeah. She decides at some point she's got to give me up for adoption. So many years later, I'm nearly 50, I think, I've got to find this woman because I need her to know I'm OK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I assumed she'd be thinking about me every birthday, certain times of the year. So I set off on this extraordinary journey, and it was far more emotional than I thought. And I was shocked to discover you get a file from social services, which is collated from the adoption agency.
How hard is it to find that file? Like, how does it work?
It can take a long time, but fortunately, I was brought up in the first years by the Sisters of Nazareth in the Nazareth House Orphanage in Cheltenham, and they provided a file for social services. I was stunned to read that Margaret was about 29 when she had me. I'd assumed she'd be 16 or 17.
Yeah.
But in fact, I did my own homework. She was 34 when she had me. She was about 3 weeks from her 35th birthday.
Why?
Amazing. So what's that about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a reference in the file to a father called Jimmy Coffey. I tracked down his family, and he died just a couple of weeks after I moved into the orphanage. He was struck by a car. Tragic, but was he really the father?
Ah.
Was he... A priest explained to me he could be what they call a toe tag father. He was taken into hospital. He was dead on arrival in hospital. He had a toe tag on his body, James Coffey. Was that a convenient name for my father? Because was Margaret protecting somebody, which is why I stayed in the home for so long? Was she having a relationship potentially with somebody else?
Because then I guess your journalistic instincts then, and the detective
they kicked
part
in.
that takes.
So I found the person who was standing next to Jimmy Coffey and he was killed. We found Margaret as well, which was we nearly had to give up. But great Jane Moore, who you know from Loose Women, she's done this before. She used some real old-fashioned journalistic techniques to track her down because she'd warned me, I think it's game over, because even back then in the early 60s, Margaret went out of her way to not be found. No middle name, no addresses, no date of birth. Jane found her, And then she was in Birmingham. Extraordinary. I'd worked on the Birmingham Mail for 2 years, not knowing my birth mother
Your
was
mum was
just
there?
3 miles away, because I was born in Bristol, so I assumed she lived around there. So we went to her house. I went with Amanda Patel, who's
Yeah.
a fellow columnist on the Mail.
Because you was advised to do that, wasn't you? Go with a female.
Go with a female,
Yeah.
knock on the door, don't write, because if she opens the letter, she may not open the letter, somebody may open the letter for her. I was in a taxi around the corner, and...
Is your heart racing?
Oh, my
How are
God.
you feeling?
I'm so anxious. I mean, I'm a nervous... The taxi driver is looking at the car. He knows something amazing is happening. And so Amanda knocks on the door. Nobody's in. So frustrating, except a little dog that's yapping. And then I wipe the back window of the cab, and I see a dot on the horizon. And I absolutely know, without a shadow of a doubt, my birth mother is approaching. Jane Moore rings as that is happening, and she said, it'll be her. I ring Amanda and said, she's walking down the street. She said, who is? I said, Margaret. How do you know? I said, it's her. So she walks up the path. Yeah, I felt it. So there's obviously this link that continues. And remember, she'd looked after... She cared about me for 2.5 years. So she walks up the garden path. If she turns left, it's not her. If she turns right to this house, it's her. And it was her. Amanda knocks on the door. She denies it's her. She denies it's anything to do with her. But Amanda's looking at this face and thinks, it's you.
It's the familiarity,
I know it's
isn't
you.
it? Yeah.
And she shows her a photograph of little Patrick in the orphanage, and she's stroking the photograph, and she said, he's crying, it's so sad. And she says, he's around the corner, your Patrick. She denies it's her. She closes the door on Amanda. We go to the pub. Of course you do. We drink one of the worst bottles of wine we've ever drank. I think if it had been the most expensive wine on the planet, it would have still been horrible.
Yeah.
And Jane Moore rings, and she says, Amanda has to go back.
Yeah.
So that was a big ask. She went back, and Margaret opened the door, and she said, I've been praying you'd return.
Oh.
It's me. And so she didn't meet me there and then because she was worried about... She's got 4 children.
Yeah.
They're grown up, and she's got grandchildren.
So she didn't want you to meet at the house?
She didn't, no. So we met in the British Home Stores cafe.
Yeah.
Not quite what I'd intended. I thought we might go somewhere a little bit more, but that was clearly where she felt comfortable.
Yeah.
And we were there for an hour. But the curious thing, she didn't ask me a thing.
About your life?
No.
Do you think that's guilt on her behalf?
I think it could be guilt. I think it was her way of dealing with it. So she told me a lot about her life with the man she'd married and the 4 children. The man she married knew nothing about me. Not a thing. Nobody knew.
So your sisters and brothers didn't know anything
nothing.
either?
No. They've only known about the fact they've got a half-brother in the last week.
She kept those secrets.
Extraordinary secret.
Why do you think she kept such a massive secret? Why do you think... Where did that come from?
Well, she said to me, what I did was a sin. That is her Catholicism. I'm still a Roman Catholic, and I'm very passionate about my Catholicism. She said, I had sex out of marriage, and you were the result, and it was a sin, and I can't remember anything, and it's my punishment. But I think she could remember things, because she knew all about her marriage. She married her husband while I was still in the orphanage, which some people find extraordinary, but I think good for her.
Yeah.
She had a chance at happiness, and she took it.
Would you advise people, Andrew, to... Obviously, it's a huge undertaking, and it's one that can take you in places you might not want to go. Would you advise people to do what you've done?
Absolutely. I have been overwhelmed since the mail serialisation with letters, emails, phone calls from people, some in their 80s, some in their 30s, who don't know their mother, don't know their father, have tried to find them and failed, or wish they tried to find them. And I'd say if you're watching, do it, because it's quite a cathartic process. Look, this didn't end with the answers that I wanted. She had her reasons, and I even went to her funeral, by the way.
Yeah.
But do it, because it is an extraordinary journey. And you know what it really did for me? I had absolutely no doubt about it that Mum and Dad, who adopted me, were the best parents.
Yeah.
So at the end of this process, if I needed any reminding that Mum and Dad were the best, and that's why the book is dedicated to Betty and George and Swindon, because they were just the best. They were just the best parents I could have hoped for.
Oh, Andrew, it's a beautiful, poignant story. It's out now. Finding Margaret, solving the mystery of my birth mother. I'm going to give this to you.
Oh, bless you.
That's
Thank
for
you
you.
for that.
Thank
I
you.
feel very proud.
I think it's actually out next week.
Yeah, on the 23rd.
It's out on the 23rd,
Yeah,
so
next
I'm very excited about it.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Now, fraudsters, you better beware, because our next guest has made a mission to expose any catfish that crosses her path.
Yeah, after growing suspicious of the messages she was receiving online, Becky Holmes decided to take matters into her own hands by replying to every scammer that popped into her inbox.
She's basically the James Blunt of the anti-scamming.
Yeah, she is.
Very good.
She is.
Yes,
Like,
please.
yeah,
I'll have that. I'll take that,
posting
yeah.
the hilarious conversations on her social media, she's gained thousands of followers and even released her own book, the brilliantly entitled Keanu Reeves is Not in Love with You.
Should say sadly at the end.
Sadly. It is sad.
yeah.
And listen, she's joining us now with her story and the signs you need to look out for if you think you're being scammed. Morning, Becky.
Morning.
So this all kind of started in lockdown, didn't it? It was 2020, you were a bit bored, a bit lonely.
Yeah.
So you thought, you know what, I'm going to go...
That makes me sound really tragic. Thanks for that.
a bit lonely. So you thought, you know what, I'm going to get involved in a bit of social media.
Yeah, so it was... I was sick of watching the news and sick of watching COVID, basically. So
Yeah.
I thought, right, I'll go on Twitter. That'll be fun. But almost straight away, my inbox was flooded with these really young, handsome men, all kind of, you know, looking as if they're in the army or, you know, really buff, saying, oh, I think you're the most gorgeous thing in the world. And I thought, do you? OK.
So you just had, like, an instinct in your heart, you knew it wasn't real?
Do you know what? I've thought about this quite a lot. So I think the reason why I was able to tell is because I got so many at once.
Right.
So it was really fortunate. If it had been just one guy that had maybe messaged and said, hi, you look lovely, I might have thought, oh, do I? But actually, because it was about 12 of them, I thought, hang on a minute, you know, either this is a convention and they're all messaging me, but so it was quite obvious that something was
following
going
Becky?
on.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe Becky.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you're just a very pretty girl and maybe they were interested in you. But obviously we know they're not.
Thanks, but yeah.
So when did you... Like, where did that come from? Any idea where that comes from? The fact that you get, like, bombarded with these? Like, why did they single you out? Because you'd only just joined Twitter, or I don't understand?
Yeah, so if you are a woman, particularly of a certain age, so I'm 45, I don't know if my profile picture made me look particularly fat and desperate. I don't know. They might have thought, oh, no, there, we've got one. But if you are a woman, in actual fact, no matter what age, you do tend to get people messaging saying, hello, dear, hello, my darling.
Well, I don't. I'm of a certain age. I don't get nothing.
But we've
I'll
so
send
many
you one
years...
later.
Like, we've been doing this, like, 4 years now, and I reckon once every couple of months we meet someone on this couch who has...
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
Someone has slid into their DMs, and before you know it, £50,000 is out of their bank account,
Yeah.
you know?
But it doesn't... You know, it's even if you send somebody 50 quid, it's kind of relative. So obviously nobody wants to lose.
Still a lot of money, isn't
Well, no,
it?
but even when you interview those people, it never starts. It always starts with the small amounts, and then the trust comes in, and before you know it, they've remortgaged the house. You know, sort of.
And it can start off with just little gift cards.
Yeah.
So, you know, I need £10 iTunes vouchers for whatever it is they say.
Are you serious?
Yeah, yeah. And then you think, oh, OK, £10.
It's nothing, yeah.
Yeah, and then you get to know each other more and more, and you kind of bond. You know, and people always say, don't send money to somebody you don't know. But the point is, if you're in an online relationship with somebody, you think you do know them.
Yeah.
So actually, that phrase becomes completely irrelevant. So when I was interviewing people for the book, there was one lady, she'd been to her bank and she wanted to transfer quite a large amount of money over. And they said, well, do you know this person? And she said, yeah, I do. So they went, oh, OK, then.
Yeah.
Now,
She doesn't know them. She only knew them online.
Yeah, but because they'd been talking for, I don't know, 6 months, day in, day out, her view was that she did know them. And you can see why that is.
So if you think about it, it's like a 6-month job for the scammer. That's a 6-month job. They get a payout of 50 grand at the end of it. I mean...
Yeah, but remember, they're talking to dozens of people at the same time.
Talking to a company or a syndicate, basically.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so they operate like pyramid schemes. You know, you have somebody that will... recruit another scammer. They'll take 10% of their money. It's
a proper business.
It is huge business.
So you knew this from the start, right? You weren't suckered in. So then you start messaging back, but kind of like up in the ante. How did it work?
So to start with, I was just blocking them and deleting them and thinking, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
But then I think it was about 3 months into lockdown, and I'd literally completed Netflix and every single jigsaw that I could buy on Amazon. Like unbelievable.
So I need to have some fun here.
I need to do something. So I just started messaging nonsense to see what I could get away with.
Well, tell us about Raymond. Tell us what happened with Raymond.
Raymond was my first.
So he's the first one you started messaging back?
Yeah, yeah.
So tell us what happened.
So he was pretending... oh God, it's a long time ago, but I think he was pretending to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And I found out later that actually the photo they used is a doctor in America. And he's really well used with fraudsters because he's very sort of handsome and, you know, anyway. So we sort of started speaking and he wasn't listening to anything I was saying. So after a while I thought, right, OK. So I started asking him to put fruit into various orifices. And he was just going, OK, dear. And I thought, this is great. So then I was messaging just fruit emojis. And he was saying, OK, all right, I don't understand this. And it eventually blocked me. And I thought, this is great. I've been blocked by a scammer.
Yeah.
So then I just decided to make it a mission to see how many more I could get blocked by.
So it's like you're scamming the scammers?
Yeah, it's become a hobby.
Oh,
you know, we've all got something to do.
So good.
What about pilot Mark Patrick?
Yes.
And the voyage to Sweden?
So he is my pinned tweet because he's one of my absolute favourites. So he messaged me. He obviously was saying he was a pilot. And again, the photo used is of a real pilot.
Yeah.
But he's gay, unfortunately, and he's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
This guy told me that he was in Bristol, but he was flying to Stockholm. So I said, oh, that's OK. Why don't I come to Stockholm as well? And he went, oh, no, there's no need to do that. And I said, fine, got nothing on. So I said, what time are you getting in? And he said a time. So I said, all right, OK, fine.
Perfect.
So I pretended to book a ticket, sent him the information. And then there was this, no, you don't need to do this. And then he's, you know, I want to be with you forever. So I said, that's fine, I'll book a hotel.
I'm on my way.
I'll book a wedding venue. So I did a fake booking for a wedding venue. This guy panicked beyond belief. Then I had a picture of Birmingham Airport and I said, it's really quiet, I'll be there soon.
I love you.
Yeah. And then he blocked me as well.
So do you know what? I mean, we're laughing, but there is a serious side to this. There's a lot of victims out there who get scammed. And even they started to approach you, didn't they?
Yeah, so once I'd been doing this for a little while, because when I started doing this, I didn't really know about romance fraud. I only knew from programmes like this where someone would come on.
What's your background? What did you do?
I worked in financial services.
Yeah.
So, you know, no scamming there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't really know much about it. And I started getting people approaching me on Twitter saying, I've been the victim of a fraud. So during lockdown, I was just kind of chatting to people and being their sounding board because nobody tells anyone.
Yeah.
So I was speaking to women and some men who'd not told their kids or their family or whatever it was, and they were just telling me.
And I suppose they felt that they couldn't tell the shame of it. They can't tell their families. Yeah. So offloading to you must have been lovely.
Yeah, and it was genuinely quite a privilege to listen to some of them because they were incredible women.
Yeah.
There's this stereotype of, you know, sort of desperate women crying into their chocolate, you know, I need a man.
Yeah.
I haven't met any like that.
No, exactly.
The victims that I spoke to, there was a lawyer, an MD, a police detective that I interview in the book, who gave money away. So
we're the same. You meet people and you read the brief and you go, how could you have been taken in by that? When you meet them, like you said, they're not the people you think they're going to be.
No, absolutely not. But the problem is, as a society, we treat romance fraud victims as fools.
Yeah.
So it just perpetuates this feeling of shame. Yeah. And there is nothing to be ashamed of, because basically, if you've sent money to somebody, you're kind.
Yeah.
Now, I first met our next guest about 5 years ago. We were both about 12. I had the honour of presenting him with the Pride of Sport Award for Fundraiser of the Year. He was just 10 years old. Alfie's since grown quite a bit, but has continued to work tirelessly to help others, and here he is now today.
Here he is. After Alfie's dad, Keith, sadly took his own life in 2017, Alfie and his mum, Alison, found themselves without support. So in a bid to help other families in the same tragic situation, they set up Alfie Squad.
Now, the organisation has since helped countless other children just like Alfie, and they join us today as they prepare to roll out their amazing work nationwide. It's so lovely to see you both. I can't believe that was 5 years ago. Does that bring back a few memories, Alf?
Yeah, it was good. Really good events, and I loved it.
It was an amazing event, and I think the thing for me is I'm not surprised at all that Alfie Squad is still thriving and flourishing. I'm thrilled that it's going to go nationwide as well, and more people are going to benefit from the hard work that the two of you have put in and the whole team behind it as well. I think the thing that's really, really compelling is it came from such a tough place for you, Alfie, and for you, Alison, as well. Take me back to that time. What do you remember? Because you were only a young lad at the time when, sadly, your dad took his own life.
Yeah, I was only 8, so I can't really remember too much. I just remember feeling really alone and really isolated. I felt like I was the only person in the world who'd lost someone, let alone someone so close to me, to suicide. It's something that's so... It's not unique by any means, but it's not spoken about much, especially like losing a parent. With Alfie's squad, we don't just deal with people who've lost a parent, but anyone. And so I do just remember feeling alone, and like I didn't really have many people to talk to, because like I had a class full of friends, and then I had my family who all understood, but my mates didn't. But I can't really expect much from 9-year-olds.
Yeah, of course.
But I had my family, but I didn't feel like I had anyone my own age or someone who could experience it exactly. Like, I'm an only child. I didn't know who to turn to, really.
And you said you felt guilty as well because your dad was having mental health issues, and you felt guilty that you hadn't noticed, that you hadn't helped him or stopped him.
Yeah. Afterwards, like, when I found out what actually happened, I blamed myself massively. I thought that if I had been a better son, then it wouldn't have happened and my dad wouldn't have done it. Obviously, I know now that that's not the case, but I was only 8. I didn't really know any better, didn't understand how mental health issues and that worked. Yeah. I just thought that if I was being better and if I would have spoke to him more, or if I would have made more of an effort, then maybe he would still be here.
And Alison, the situation must have been obviously so heartbreaking for you because you're dealing with your own loss, and at the same time, it's knowing what to do with your little boy too.
Yeah, well, that was the main problem, that is that I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone who'd gone through the same situation as us, and I was really mindful of the fact that I didn't want Alfie to grow up struggling with his mental health because we couldn't give him answers. It was just very isolating. We lost friends who didn't really want their children to be associated with Alfie because of I presume, the stigma of what had actually happened. So it was really, really worrying.
Well, it's also that situation as well where you don't want to make the situation any worse either. You want to get it right and you want to handle it in the right way so that, you know, you can minimise the heartbreak for him too. So what did you do?
One of the first things I decided is that Alfie had to talk as much as possible. I didn't want him bottling anything up. Really? And that actually resulted in, for the first 2 years, well, at least a year and a half, Alfie would come into my room every night and we'd talk for up to an hour every night so he could let everything out before he went to sleep. And, you know, a lot of it was questions that I couldn't answer, but I decided to tell him if I couldn't answer it, and I would try and find it out. I just wanted Alfie's questions to be answered. But a lot of it, as Alfie said, was down to his isolation, but also that he was blaming himself. That, you know, if he wasn't a better child, then his dad wouldn't have decided to leave him. And that was the biggest problem we had for a good while.
Big hurdle to overcome for you to understand that actually was no responsibility of yours. So where did the essence of Alfie's squad come from then, Alfie?
So it was around... I lost my dad in the May of 2017, and then in the November, I think it was, we were just out, we went to the shops and we met a homeless man and his dog, and we spoke to him for like a good half an hour or something, just talking about everything. And then after that, I realised that I wanted to help other people because I knew that I was going through such a tough time, but then there's other people who are also going through stuff. And so after seeing that, I wanted to like work something out to try and help others. Initially, it was going to be a Help the Homeless campaign, but eventually we decided to go for something more familiar to us. And Alfie Squad's the only group of its kind, so it's sort of natural. It's what I wanted when I was 8. I wanted people to talk to, and now we've got it.
So tell me about Alfie Squad. Describe it to me and all the different elements of it.
So when visitors come to the group for the first time, they expect something that's like somber and people aren't talking much, and it's quite like sad, but it's the complete opposite. Everyone's running, like as soon as you walk in, you've got little 8-year-olds running around everywhere.
Lunatics.
Basically laughing their heads off.
Good.
It's really nice. It's like a youth club. We've got, how many?
There's 26 in the first group now.
So he's got 25 new brothers and sisters.
Wow.
So that group is actually full. We started with 7, didn't we?
Yeah.
And the first week they were all really quiet, they wouldn't talk to each other. And now it's like we're full at capacity and it's like a massive family.
And you do all different activities, pizza, movies,
Quizzes.
all different things.
Quizzes.
Yeah, we do all different things. So we've done Katumba, which is Brazilian drumming. We've done, like, a magic workshop. We had a magician come in, do the circus workshop. We do quizzes every now and then, which I always win. Do stuff like a pizza night at the end of each block. Because we work in 8-week blocks, it tends to be 4 external people come in.
Yeah.
Then with 1 trip and then 3 others inside the session. But everyone's at the point now where we don't need activities and everyone just talks. And
I love that. That the energy in the room, the connection has helped so many. Alison, you've been in the Northwest up till now, but you're about to go nationwide, which is extraordinary.
Yes. Well, we've got 2 groups now in Merseyside that are about... One's, as I said, is a capacity. The second one, we started 4 weeks ago and that's filling up. But we've decided, until we can get to every region in the country, which is what we want to do, we are starting a national online group. So we've worked out that everything within Alfie Squad we can transfer online because we get so many emails from people saying, can you open in our part of the country? Sure. And Alfie's really aware that there's children that really need help because there really is nothing in the whole of the UK to support children. So we're doing Alfie Squad online starting on the 21st of May.
Wow, amazing.
How exciting. And if people are interested, Alfie, and they want to reach out, they want to get involved potentially with the Alfie Squad online or the groups that you've got in Merseyside, what can they do? Where can they go?
So you can go to our website, which is alfiesquad.org. Yeah.
Little sideways look at check with the boss.
I'm not too well trained. And then we've also got social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter, Alfie Squad. Twitter's mainly just my mum ranting about Everton, though. So
there's a lot to rant about.
Not as much now, actually.
Best to stick with Instagram. So we're active on both. And then, like I said, you can send a referral form through the website. And we've got all information about our fundraisers and everything there.
Well, look, it's such a thrill to see you again.
It's a pleasure to meet you. What a brilliant young man. You must be so proud of him, Alison.
Yeah, he's
what brilliant young man.
From where he started, it's gone massive.
Just goes to show what can happen with the support and the group and Alfie Squad doing the business. Thank you for coming in. It's lovely to see you both again.
Thank
you.
you.
Hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Now, we are very excited about this next guest.
Yes, in her first ever live television interview. It's always a little bit scary. Her Royal Highness Princess Beatrice joins us now. Trust us here in This Morning. We are live from the Empire State Building, but we're unlucky with the weather, aren't we?
Good morning, Your Royal Highness. Thank you so much for joining us. Like, you are on top of the Empire State Building. The weather doesn't look too great there, and you're there supporting your charity, Outward Bound. Can you tell us what's going on, Beatrice?
Good morning. It's so wonderful to be with you. And I absolutely promise I really am standing on the top of the Empire State Building in New York, even though the weather looks a little bit grey. I am here to kick off an amazing challenge, which is called the Big Rappel. So I work very closely with an amazing organisation in the UK called the Outward Bound Trust. I've been involved with the organisation for a few years now, and this amazing challenge is a phenomenal collaboration between Outward Bound Trust, Outward Bound International and Outward Bound New York and all of our project partners to raise a little bit of awareness about what Outward Bound really stands for. And really the charity is here to think about what young people really need to thrive in life. And we've been working since the 1950s to think about collaboration, resilience, finding your true self, and we do this in various ways. But nothing better than really sort of taking that example of what the charity stands for and making some fantastic individuals, 25 to be exact, abseil from the top of the Empire State Building. This is the first time this challenge has happened, and it's phenomenal to be a partner of this.
Beatrice, I'm trying to figure out what's more terrifying, abseiling down with a view or into the abyss of fog. How are they all feeling this morning?
I've had a chance to catch up with some of the participants, and I think they're feeling really confident. They have a very rigorous safety team who have taken them through a couple of days of fantastic training, and I think for them, you know, they're really taking this into, you know, taking it in their stride. I think they would have loved for a bit more of a view. I think it's such a momentous day to kind of stand at the top, but, you know, it's still spectacular to do the project.
And it's a charity that means an awful lot to you and your family, of course, because your grandfather was involved in it way back in the 50s, wasn't he, Prince Philip?
Exactly. So it's one of the reasons why I'm so thrilled to be a part of the Outward Bound. You know, he studied under Kurt Hahn, who was the founder of the charity when he was at school at Gordonston, and really summing up what sort of he's really strived for throughout his legacy, founding, you know, not only the Duke of Edinburgh Awards, but also Outward Bound, really thinking about what young people need. And fascinatingly, even though this, you know, this charity's been around for such a long time, that legacy for young people is still the most important thing and at the very core of what Outward Bound really stands for. What do young people really need to thrive? And actually, you know, I've had a chance to meet some of the young people over the years of my work with the charity. And sometimes it's a case of, you know, they can come out of their comfort zones, they're taken on these amazing adventures, and in some stories, they're seeing stars for the very first time. Oh. And that really is what the charity is all about. It's taking those opportunities and giving them to young people.
And how high up are you at the moment, Beatrice? And would you fancy an upsell yourself?
Oh, goodness. So the wonderful thing about being involved with the charity is I've taken a whole charity approach to this one, and I'm really thrilled to support the participants. But no, I'm gonna let them do it today and cheer them on from the very top.
But today's the perfect day because you don't know how far up you are. It's one step.
I have no idea. No idea. But, you know, the Empire State Building is such an iconic building as well, so it's pretty wonderful to kind of feel the history. You know, it's been around since the 1930s, and, you know, so no better place to collaborate than on the top of a beautiful building like this.
Your mum took a big step into the unknown this year when she joined us on the sofa and presented part of the show. Did she enjoy herself?
She absolutely loves working with This Morning team. I think it's one of her favorite things to do. You know, she's such a phenomenal icon, and as a mum, she's been amazing, and she's been through so much, and her sense of sort of purpose and resilience really keeps me going. And she absolutely, I thought it was one of the most hilarious segments I've seen for a while. I watched it sort of half under the sofa and half sort of like, come on, Mum, you can do it. So it was a great day.
Beatrice, how is your mum? Can you give us an update on her?
She's doing really well, thank you, Josie. Yeah, you know, she's had a bumpy health scare last year, but no, all clear now. And I think, at 64, she's thriving. She's been through so much, but I think really now she's sort of coming into her own. I think we're just reminded when any parent or individual has a sort of a health scenario, just really get the checks that you need to get, and as early as you possibly can. And I think, both my sister and I are so proud of her for taking those steps to get those checks. And it really modelled our health considerations on that. But, we're really lucky in the UK to make sure that you can get those checks as best you can, and hopefully we can, do as much as,
And Beatrice,
be there to support each other when anyone goes through a healthcare
That's
scare.
been the message from all your family, because it's been a tough year for all of you, hasn't it, across the board? And it's interesting watching you all come together and supporting each other. It's been heavy going, I know.
And will you send your...
And there's nothing more important than family.
Yeah, we're all big fans of your mum here this morning, so will you send your mum our love?
It's beginning to look like a Spandau Ballet video at the moment with that fog coming in, Beatrice. We can barely see you. I mean, you're disappearing into it.
I know. I'm still here. Of course, I will send your mum, my mum, your best, and when I'm back in the UK, maybe we could do something together.
Oh yeah, we'd love that. We'd absolutely love that.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of New York. Is it your second favourite city to London?
Well, I had the opportunity to live here for a couple of years, so I've got some wonderful best friends, some fantastic kind of local haunts that I really enjoy. But, New York for me, when I was figuring out my life and what I wanted to do, New York gave me a place to kind of have a job, and just get on with it. So New York has always had such a special place for me, and and also for Mum as well. I mean, she came out here, started her charity, Chances for Children, back in the day. And so New York for us has always been a great city to spend some time in.
It's also, I mean, look, when you're a member of a high-profile family as you are, going to somewhere like New York, particularly on a day like today where no one can see anyone, it must be lovely to live in relative anonymity over there when you're there for a while, right?
Yeah, and I came to New York for my job, to go and sit in an office and do the things that I've been really passionate about in technology and digital inclusion. And so these are one of the reasons why New York really kind of created that environment. And I learned a lot. I was quite young when I was here, so I was really excited to have that opportunity. But now very happy to be back in the UK with my family as well.
And do your children spend a little time there, Beatrice, as well with you?
My little ones are phenomenally excited about coming to travel, but my daughter is 2.5 and I haven't yet braved the international flight.
and how are they? And I suppose as a parent, you realise the importance of doing activities like this.
Yes, I'm as a parent, when I think about some of the opportunities that Outward Bound gives to young people, it even more just sort of gives them that sense of determination. Young people these days are having to go through so much with social media and with the debates around screen time, and actually we just need to make sure that there are places like Outward Bound, which are phenomenal, offer phenomenal programs, to make sure that every child gets the best opportunities to think about confidence, resilience, and these sort of essential life skills that mean that any challenge that they can look at, we can give them in sort of a bit more support. And as I said, I've had a chance to meet some of the students that have been supported by Outward Bound, and even in New York, listening to the stories with Outward Bound schools, I'm just so inspired that something that has got such a phenomenal legacy is still relevant today, to make sure that young people have what they need to thrive.
Beatrice, I know you're not doing your first ab sale today, but you have done your first live television interview.
I cannot believe it's your first live. You're amazing.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Princess Beatrice.
You're very kind.
Oh, thank you for joining us. I still cannot believe this is your first live broadcast.
And
You've been incredible.
Lots of love to all the family and everything they're going through at the moment. OK, take care of yourself.
Thank you so much. You're very kind.
Cheerio.
Take care. Bye, Beatrice. Bye-bye.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.